Sizothatha umasipala thina siyawakhipha amasela azokhala. Sizothatha umasipala thina siyawakhipha amasela azokhala. Sizothatha umasipala thina siyawakhipha amasela azokhala. Sizothatha umasipala.
They are funders. The MK party, us combined with the EFF, we don't make 50+1 there in KZN. I think we are 49. And then if we add the NFP, 39, we've got 39 seats. Then if we add the NFP, we're going to have 40. So this thing was done deliberately to enable the possibility of uniting these three organizations for the interest of the white establishment.
Yeah. I want to go back to my question around the Unity of Black Party. You spoke about those that possibly are in parliament now, but there is a whole lot of other parties outside of parliament. Is there an effort from MK Party to talk unity with them and try to consolidate? We've seen other parties. I know you don't take script from what other parties are doing, but there is consolidations here and there happening. What is your plan or efforts in trying to practice or actionalize what you are talking about when you say Black unity, Pan-Africanism, the progressive forces?
No, actually, we are in engagements with even parties which are not in parliament. There is a civil organization, I forget their name. I think its president is Ngubane. We've got some level of understanding with them. They are not in parliament because our obsession here is not with positions in parliament or in government, but the obsession is an obsession of uniting Black people behind one vision. So we are in engagements with them. And when President Zuma is making this call, he does not categorize, doesn't say we only want parties which are in parliament. He says Black parties must unite. The time for us to unite has come for the best interest of our people.
The question around the ATM, I know that there's an agreement already and a partnership already working together. Are we going to see two parties on the ballot paper, or it's going to be a one party?
No. Well, I don't know. I'm just a new child on the block. So those are discussions which were coordinated at a leadership level. So I don't have the nitty-gritties. But what I know is that the ATM is a good partner to the MK party. Even in parliament, we have a very cordial relationship. We work very well with the ATM. We have never even, insulted each other, even on the podium, even when we are under pressure, So there's never been an instance where we choose to defy each other. We've always been joining our hands behind one vision. So as to then what will happen in moving forward, I think we can leave that to other engagements that we are going to have with the ATM.
Okay. Let's take a call. We've got Teenage from Soshanguve. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Fine, ma'am. I think, let me start by asking this. How is the NK going to question the criteria used by the IEC to appoint the government employees like principal and teachers for this part-time job during the voting period? And then, secondly, I'm aware, I've realized when by saying they agreed and disagree with the ALC or with financial in general there. My question is, are these policies, when these parties are drafting the policies, are these policies not drafted to cater the society at large, I mean the country? But it seems as if they are drafted to satisfy the wants of the parties. And thirdly, lastly, I say, when it comes to foreigners, it's only the diplomats, the parliamentarians that understand that why the legal foreigners and illegal foreigners cannot be dealt by the government of the ANC because of the payback time. I think the host, minister there, can be able to clarify for me, because I've been looking for the answer for the sunset clause, because I think, according to me, everything that is why we are observing the influx of foreigners here is because of the payback time. These people are the people who were taking care of the ANC while they were in exile. So there was no price that will be put down and say, when you get democracy, you are going to pay us this. So these people cannot be chased away. They are here because of that payback time, which was caused by the sunset clause.
Thank you, Tinesh from Soshanguve. He is really talking about the stance of, and we've heard the Nigerian ambassador, His Excellency, they're talking about having done so much for the country during apartheid days, where we've hosted Mandela and possibly Mbeki, and he's saying that they are using that to kind of like stay in our country illegally, etc. And he wants to know the position. And I think you may have answered this earlier, but if there's anything else you picked up from him that you want to...
No. I'm saying that can never be an excuse for breaking the law, because if you are undocumented, you have broken the law. That is simple. But I just want to talk about what happened in East London. There we saw some members of society protesting, and I was very worried when I saw some political parties condemning that behavior, which was displayed by some members of society there. And my worry came from the fact that the responsibility to marshal society to a particular direction lies with the political parties. And when there's an absence of political leadership, the masses are going to lead themselves. And when they lead themselves, anarchy is inevitable. So we can't blame those people who were there, who were protesting, because they were protesting for a good cause. It means we will wake up here in this country in the morning with the news that there is a new president who has just decided to put himself as the president of the country. If we allow that behavior of that a king there who has been put by foreigners, who is imagining to be a king, and the people, because there is an absence of leadership, decided to lead themselves. So in the first place, we were supposed to be there. We were supposed to have initiated a protest if there was a need of a protest. But we were supposed, as the political parties, to be the first ones to say, this is not right, not in our country and not under our watch.
No, certainly. Even the leadership of the province, they should have done something. But I think what is worrying for myself and even for other listeners, we've been discussing this March and what has happened, and we support their cause of what we understood is their cause. But it's fast turning out as well. It's becoming an ethnic thing again, where we are hearing amashangani esukendleleni, where people are being beaten up because they can't speak proper Zulu, and there's purity tests that are happening, and so it is worrying that and all this. Most of the members that we saw there, they come from different parties, whether it's Action SA or PA. Those are not Shangans, they are not Zulus, they are Tswanas, some of them maybe even colored. Why would we want always to... And it may not be an MK thing. I'm not posing it to you as a question that you must answer if you can. But there is that sense that, the Zulu nationalism is rising again. We are the ones leading this, we're the one doing this. And I don't know what is the MK's view on it.
Look, I think that should be condemned with the contempt it deserves. But here is the reality. every revolutionary cause emanating from a genuine perspective gets to be hijacked by foreign and opportunistic elements. I will make an example with the July unrest, for instance. It was started by people who were genuinely sympathizing with the former president, but it got hijacked by criminal elements, by people who had other interests. Some people were looting, some were, destroying the infrastructure, and so on and so forth. So I'm saying, even with this march, that is possible as well, because these are massive protests, and some people identify opportunities of pursuing other interests, which are outside the core objectives of this march. But this protests, in their actual context, they are protests to be embraced and to be supported, because we are currently faced with a situation here in this country of undocumented, foreigners who commit crime.
Indeed.
Because they are not just undocumented, but beyond that, they commit crime. And when they've committed crime, it's not easy to trace them, because they are nowhere in our system.
They can wake up and they're gone. Let's hear the last voice note.
Good evening, good people. Hope you are all well. Comrade Nopal, thank you very much for your appointment. It was much needed. As a comrade, by the way, my name is Lebogang from Ward 45 in Ekurhuleni. It's quite inspirational to have a peer like you. So please keep it up. Keep inspiring us. You are off to a great start.
Thank you.
Before we go to the last voice note, what would be what will tell you that I, as the SG Nomvalo, was tasked to lead, given this privilege, I have achieved? What will be your measure at the end of your office, whenever that is?
Is the sense of direction and stability, and the outcomes of the elections, the local government elections, because they will be determined by our state of readiness, and our state of readiness will be determined by our sense of stability and direction. So I believe that if we continue with the pace that we've currently adopted, we will rise from one strength to another. So once we win municipalities, I would, walk like a very proud man. But of course, we under a proper understanding that I have not achieved that as an individual, but with my collective, because I don't work alone. I work with a collective, even though I'm an engine of the organization, but we make delegations.
There are many parts that make the engine.
Correctly. So correct. So there are many people who make this engine to run. It doesn't run because of an individual.
Yeah. And the SG's view and program around women leadership within MK.
Yeah, I think that is one area on which we must improve as a party. It's not an overnight thing. It is the same as the aspect of improving the involvement of the youth in our leadership responsibilities. But you can't, achieve it overnight, because even organizations which have been there are struggling, to achieve that, because we still suffer from that stigma of coming from a patriarchal background, of coming from a perception that women are subhuman and women can be treated only as sexual objects and so on and so forth. So we come from those realities. That is why when they characterize our historical background, they say women suffered from triple suppression. They suffered at home for being women. They were abused by their men. They suffered because they are black people, or they were black people, but also they suffered because they were poor. So that is triple suppression. So they come from that background. So it is important to integrate them into positions of leadership and as a way of emancipation. Them. So it's a huge responsibility, which is not easy, to be quite honest, to achieve, because even amongst themselves, women, they don't support each other.
They don't.
So that is another reality that we're faced with.
What is your greatest fear at the moment concerning your position? What gives you that sleepless night or that panic? The only fear that I have is inspired by the desire to see our house in order. That is the only fear. I hear people talking about me being removed. I don't care about that. Even if I'm removed, I can sleep a very peaceful night at night, because that would not mean I've got nothing to do. My firm is still running, very busy. So I can go back to my firm and, continue with my responsibilities. But I'm a perfectionist. When I'm given a task, I execute it, and I put all the effort to ensure that I can attest to that. I've seen that. You throw everything that you have.
I throw everything.
Last voice note, because they took their time to send it to the SG.
Sure.
That's Colin. Hope you're having a good night there. It's a privilege having the SG. I'm in the show today. So I want to understand the SG's views. Mangabezo bantu, maybe it's NK cult, and saying that when Zuma dies, the party also dies. How does that help, or how hard is it for them as a party, for the black people of this country, of which also I believe it is the only party right now that actually is working with the people of this country. Hence, the ANC have diverted from that role. So I want to know, how exactly is it hard, or how are they finding it, actually pulling people in?
I think we've got the gist. In answering that, SG, I would also like you to then give us your parting shots in terms of why people should consider MK Party in the upcoming local government elections.
Okay. No, look, we're no longer moved by this characterization of people who call us a cult, because it is informed by ignorance. Like I've said, it's people who don't know this party, and they've never taken their time to study how our party operates. So we're just focused here. We're focusing on the work at hand. And the work that we have at hand is a work of enhancing our systems, and is the work of preaching the gospel of the MK Party, because we all have a responsibility to save this country. And the only way we can save this country is by voting the MK Party, but not only voting for the MK Party, but by joining it, so that you can influence. And if you believe that it is currently not on the right track, you have a responsibility to join it and influence its direction. Yes, correct. Yeah.
That's the SG of MK Party. Thank you so much. I can't believe we've been with you for 2 hours.
For 2 hours.
It doesn't even feel like 2 hours. And I want to apologize to the guests that were supposed to have joined us tonight. We are going to make time to talk to you on this important topic around autism and inclusivity. But thank you, SG, for joining us. Thank you for
Pleasure.
taking your time and for really
Pleasure.
giving us your heart in all of this. Hey, the listeners out there, my goodness, we stayed together once again until midnight. Thank you so much for staying with us. Your engagement was so enriching. You know, I always send you my love. Good night to you. If you're going to sleep, if you are driving, don't disconnect, because
Ow.